We're now recording. So by the end of this presentation, the goal of today's session is that I can provide you with some clarity in this AI craze that's going on right now. And you'll be able to understand how AI actually works. Like, what is AI? You'll understand how to communicate with AI to produce high value results, which is very important on the way you communicate with AI. I will teach you my clarity framework on how to use AI to move forward in your business and remove some of those bottlenecks that you have. And then lastly, I will show you where AI is going and how coaches will be using AI to scale their business in the upcoming years. Does that sound good? Thumbs up? Okay, perfect. All right. Okay. Let's get a read on the room. In the chat, if you have the chat open, tell me, what is your current feeling or current state on how you feel about AI? Are you confused? Are you overwhelmed? Are you excited? All of the above? Like, how do we feel about AI right now? Someone, I like real people. I like real people too. And AI, a lot of coaches feel that AI is going to take over the human connection, and I truly believe that it can enhance the human connection with our clients. So hopefully we can change your mind by the end. Confused, yep. All of those feelings are completely normal, but I am here to tell you that you're not behind, first of all. And the fact that you are here on this call means you are right on time, because 2026 is definitely the year to start integrating AI into your business where it makes sense for you. And I assume that there are a variety of experiences with AI on this call. So I'm going to try to keep it as simple as possible, but I want you to come into the session with an open mind and a curious mind. Okay, sound good? Okay. All right, let's talk about the evolution of AI. So, although it feels like AI is new, it's actually been around since the 1950s. The reason why AI feels so new for us is because we got access to it in the late 2022 in November to ChatGPT. This type of AI is called generative AI. So it's a very powerful technology. But the problem with this is that no one knows how to use it, and they still don't know how to use it. And so people were and are still using it like Google as like a search engine. And this is where everyone is kind of missing the boat on the power of how AI can actually be used, especially in your business. So let's start and learn about the models like ChatGPT. So ChatGPT is an LLM, and an LLM stands for large language model. And what that means is they are essentially pattern prediction engines. Just like our brains, if I were to say peanut butter and blank, you would say jelly. LLMs are the same exact thing, except they organize patterns based on massive amounts of data, and they can do it in seconds. So just like our brain, it has more storage and it can compute faster. So it's the same concept. So they don't search for answers on the internet like Google. They actually predict the next best response based on large amounts of pattern-driven data. And so the secret sauce to this is that no one is thinking about like, because they're so busy treating ChatGPT like a search engine. LLMs are emotionless, they're non-biased and logical, and because they are based on pattern-driven data, they are actually the best sounding boards to think things through. It's kind of like having an unbiased expert who's available 24/7 to help you think through problems that is completely based off of logic and not biased. Like if you were to talk to your friend, it might be a little bit more biased, but this is like an unbiased machine that's going to give you responses based off of logic, which is super important when we're in our business and we need to think logically, which is hard sometimes because we're so emotionally attached to our business. However, if you want a specific outcome that's not a generic pattern, you have to provide context to make sure it's more specific to your use case. So here's the first framework that I want to introduce you to, and it will completely change the way you get your input or you get your outputs when using an LLM or a chat GPT. So how you communicate with AI is the number one skill that determines how useful AI is to you. And this is called prompting. So you may have heard of prompting before. You probably hear about it all over the internet. But prompting of how you communicate with it. So there are four parts. It's role, context, constraints, and output. So each one, if this is how you communicate with AI, and each one plays an important role in how you structure communication. So the first one is defining the role. So this essentially, it's how AI thinks and approaches your input. So if you are trying to get business strategy, you would say act as a top 1% fitness business strategist. I like using Alex Hermosi, especially for like the fitness industry. So I will sometimes say think like Alex Hermosi, or um, you want to either say think or act like. This actually narrows down the scope of the patterns that the AI will search for. I mean, and it's pretty incredible. Like, think how amazing it is that we now have access to actually think and apply problems with some of the most intelligent people out there because we have access to their writing, to their information. It's crazy that we are able to think and act and produce like some of the most intelligent people. It's kind of like having like Albert Einstein as your mentor. AI allows you to tap into these people that are experts in these fields. So the first one is defining the role. Who is the AI thinking or acting like? That's the first part. The second part is context. So context is, I would say, probably the most important because when you are using it for your business, I call this the business DNA. And in my AI Fit Pro course, I actually teach the exact outputs or inputs for your business, but it will include things like, who you are, who you help, your current situation, any context that will help the AI create a response that is catered to you, you want to put in there. So the more context you provide, the better. And you don't have to be so perfect about it. You can just kind of brain dump. And even if you feel like you're giving too much information is never a problem when you're trying to create your first prompt in AI because it will take your gibberish and kind of organize your thinking, which we'll talk about in a little bit. But that's number two. The third one. So the third one, constraints and boundaries from an ethics standpoint. Okay. This is really important. This keeps your responses in scope. So this protects us as fitness professionals, especially if you're using it to create content for your audience. So things like, a boundary would be don't provide medical advice or stay within scope of my profession as a certified coach. When I build custom apps for clients, the most important part is creating guardrails for the AI so it doesn't go off and hallucinate because the AI says things with such conviction that you believe it. So if you don't set strict guardrails for your outputs, it can get a little sticky. And this is just really important to make sure that you are giving it boundaries and constraints so that it doesn't go outside of your scope and provide things that legally is not correct. So that's number three. The fourth one is the output style. So the output style is how do you want your responses or your outputs? Because everyone learns differently, and some people may do better with a lot of details. Some people might do better in bullet points. This gives you the flexibility of how you want the output laid out. And it also depends on what you're creating. So if you are just using AI as a thinking partner, you fit your output style to the way that you understand things best. But like if you're writing content, when you want to be specific on how it's formatted based on the platform that you're posting on. So it really depends on what you're doing, whether you're just having a thinking session with AI or you're actually trying to create structured content. So the output style is how do you want your information returned to you? And the thing about this is like it doesn't have to be all in order. It doesn't have to be, roles, context, constraints, output. It just has to have some version of these four things will help give you better outputs. Okay, so let me just put it together so you can just see what it would look like. And the vague input versus a strong input. You could probably give more context on this right side, but this will kind of give you how you identify each part of the four. So a vague input, which a lot of people are probably doing, is saying like, hey, they open a chat and they say, write me an Instagram post about fitness for pickleball players. It's very vague, very generic, boring, and it can also potentially be unsafe because you're not giving it constraints to, you're not a physical therapist, you shouldn't be prescribing anything, and versus a strong framework, which would be using a role. So act as a fitness marketing coach and content strategist for a pickleball fitness brand. The context would be my audience is a pickleball players ages 40 to 65 who want to move better and play longer, focus on longevity, not intensity. The constraints would be avoid medical claims, no fluff, and keep it beginner friendly. And then the output, because this is an Instagram post, you want to say to give you a strong hook, to create a caption, keep the words between 150 to 220, and a call to action. So that's just like a basic example. You can give way more context. Like I said, the more the better. But this is just an example of what a vague versus a strong prompt would be. All right, so a couple of pro tips for refining the communication after you put the prompt in. One of them is to give examples of your tone. So if you already have social media posts or email examples, you can actually feed it into the AI to learn your tonality. You can also give the AI feedback. So I will tell the AI when it's giving me garbage and when it's spot on. So if I like what it's giving me, I'll say, this is great. I love the way that this is outlined. It will actually take note and adjust all future responses. So as try to be nice to AI, but if it sounds like AI or it's giving you those M dashes, you could tell it, sound less like AI. And what you can do to help with that is give it a tone guide. So, maybe you actually prompt AI to say, let's create a tone guide, and it will collect some of your examples of your writings, and it will actually create a tone guide that you can then save and then upload to your ChatGPT folder or project. In ChatGPT, if you have a project, there's like a little plus button on the right upper corner, and you can add a file. So you can create a file of your voice guide or your tone guide, and then it will refer to that tone guide to write your content. And then the fourth one is adjusting the level of readability. So you can tell AI to explain things like a fifth grader reading level. So it's more clear, it's direct, it doesn't have jargon. Sometimes, like if I'm doing research and I don't understand the terminology of like the science, I will say, can you re-explain this to me like a fifth grader? And if I'm doing like ads or messaging, I typically will say, adjust this like a fifth grader because it just makes things very clear and basic and simple, and people, will understand it better. This is my golden rule. This is literally gold. This is my secret sauce. So the golden rule for accuracy on all of your prompts is after you create the prompt, finish it with ask me clarifying questions until you are 99.9% sure you understand what I need. So if you end your prompt with this command, it forces the AI to pause and confirm understanding before it generates any outcome for you. This is so important. So definitely take a screenshot of this, and I can send this as well in the email. But it's definitely something that is very helpful in clarifying what you need for outputs. All right, clarity checkpoint. So we understand what an LLM is and how it works, right? We have a clear framework of how to communicate to produce high value AI results. And now we're actually going to use AI to gain clarity for decisions and create momentum. All right, so we're going to move on. Any questions on that so far? Does anyone do prompting right now, or was that new? Does anyone do something similar to that? No? Okay, cool. Perfect. Good. I never know with the groups how if people already know it, so definitely give me feedback. All right, we're going to move on. So this next part is the AI clarity framework. So AI clarity framework moving from reactive overwhelm to predictable business growth. All right, so here is where we get stuck. We have so many ideas. We want to grow our social media, we want to launch a new program, get more clients. But when we don't have clarity on which ones actually matter, we just stay in this cycle of ideas, chaos, and overwhelm. And the truth is, we have to focus on that one thing that is going to drive our business forward because we're so in it. Sometimes it's hard to see what that one priority is. So, the first part of this process is to start by finding the constraint in your business. So, you're going to take all of the ideas in your head and narrow it down to the single bottleneck that is preventing growth right now. You will notice that most constraints fill in one of these categories. It's either lack of consistent leads, unclear offer, poor content strategy, or a lack of systems that build consistency. So this is the AI clarity framework. We're going to turn our scattered ideas into predictable growth. Let's tackle each step. We have reflection, organization, system, and direction. So, number one, reflection. This is personally my favorite part. You're going to literally brain dump. So, you're going to open up ChatGPT or your whatever LLM that you're using, and you are going to type in that chat box, I need to gain clarity in my business. I'm going to brain dump, ask me deep and clarifying questions, identify my patterns, behaviors, and blind spots. This step will actually create so much awareness and almost like think of it as a therapy session. There's no judgment. You're just laying everything out there. You're literally word vomiting. And I like to do this either on my phone, if I have Chat GPT on my phone, or on the computer where you can like voice text it because it's just you're just gonna brain dump. You're gonna brain dump how are you feeling? What are you struggling? What's taking up your time? What do you like? It's just a non-structured brain dump. The next step is organizing that brain dump and those patterns and structuring them into structured thinking. You can ask AI in the chat box, you can say, like right after the brain dump, you'll say, based on all of this, what is one thing I need to prioritize to actually move my business forward? Have it keep asking you clarifying questions until it gives you your clear bottleneck. And the key is to make sure that it is one bottleneck. You might have a couple of them, but you need to pinpoint and tell AI, find the one bottleneck that is my priority that is going to move the needle forward in my business the most. And that is going to be the bottleneck that you choose. Okay, so once you have your biggest constraint or bottleneck, you are now going to tell AI to help you design a simple, repeatable workflow and process to make business growth predictable every week based on the constraint that you have decided on. So, this will be your repeatable system that you will need to implement on a week to week basis. So, now you're creating a structure and a system based on your workflow and the time and availability that works for you. And then finally, so you have the system, that's great. Well, how do you actually take the first step towards the action? You're going to ask AI to help you determine the most important actions to do next to ensure you're creating the greatest progress with the least amount of friction. So this is really no different than what we do with our clients. We want them to get quick, small wins so that it creates momentum for them. It's the same exact thing for us. It's up to you to take the action. Just like we can't take action for our clients, we have to take responsibility and stay focused on what we need to do consistently to move the needle forward in our business. So let's look at a very basic example of how this framework would apply to a coach. So this is our friend Alex. He's overwhelmed. He wants to do all of these things that he thinks will grow his business. So instead of trying to do all of it at once, he uses AI to think and help him find his constraint. After a deep reflection session, AI identifies his biggest constraint is lead generation consistency. So the AI creates repeatable workflow that he can do on a weekly basis. And now this is like a very generic sample, but you can just see how, AI will create a weekly workflow for you that will help get you to towards solving your constraint. And then AI will then give him three immediate tasks that break down what he needs to do next. And then you just follow the recipes. And the thing is, like, this framework is simple, but it works. And one thing I've noticed as coaches, we tend to overcomplicate things. I don't know about you, but I always overcomplicate things. But we need to just break it down into smaller, consistent actions and focus on one outcome that is going to make the biggest impact in your business, one at a time. And once you solve one bottleneck, you can then move on to the next. So your homework is to go through this system, but to make it easier for you guys, I actually built an app flow to take you through it. So you can see it on the screen, scan that QR code and just confirm that that QR code works. I love building little workflows. I built this workflow. You're going to go through the clarity session just like we went over, but you will actually get a much more detailed 90-day plan as your action. It will take about 15-20 minutes. But I highly recommend going through it. It's completely free. Just scan it, go through each question. That first one, you'll brain dump, and then it will analyze, ask some clarifying questions, and then it will give you your organized structure. It will identify your constraint, and then it will give you your system, and then it will give you your daily tasks for 90 days. So definitely utilize that, and I'd love to hear what comes out of it and if you guys found that helpful. Okay. Now, clarity checkpoint. How good is ChatGPT at being a business coach? So it can be a very good business coach, but like we discussed, it's all about context. So you have to feed it context about your business. And that's why I said that last part of the prompt, asking clarifying questions. If you just went into, like, if you scan that QR code and you go into it and you brain dump, and it will ask you clarifying questions about your business, and it will keep asking you clarifying questions about your business until it fully understands what to do. And I actually think it's a great business coach because, like I said, it's very logic. It's black and white. So it will intake all of the context that you give it, and it will actually give you patterns and strategies that work for successful people. So because you're giving it a role, you would give it a role of a business coach, top 1% business coach. It's going to use the patterns of what successful business coaches do. So as long as it has context, and that's what I teach in my AI Fit Pro course that we actually just released yesterday, you will actually go and create your business DNA to feed it to ChatGPT so that you can actually create your staff, which I'm going to get into in a second. Nothing. It just goes. I don't see it. This is my portal. So I use a platform called Replit to build my apps, and the information goes nowhere. It's private. Replit is a really great platform that has privacy in the data, so nothing is going to happen. Any other questions before we move on? And I'm going to open up for questions at the end. The presentation won't go the full hour, so I'm happy to ask questions at the end about any of this. All right, so clarity checkpoint. So we understand, I always want to make sure that I hit all the points that I promised. So we understand what an LLM is and how it works. We have a framework on how to communicate with AI effectively. And now we know what the framework is for clarity, to go from chaos to clarity by creating systems and an action plan. All right, so now the final part in this presentation, we're going to talk about the future of AI in the fitness industry. This part may give you mixed feelings, so I'm going to say that right now. But the reason why I'm telling you guys this is because this is where the industry is going, whether we like it or not. AI is not going away. So hang in there and I will answer any questions at the end. Okay. So the next wave of AI in our particular industry or any service industry is building custom GPTs. Okay. And I'll explain what that is. So let's start by explaining what it is. So a custom GPT, there's two parts here. So in the service industry, custom GPT, it stands for generative pre-trained transformer. I like to call it your business center. Okay. So the problem with using ChatGPT as is it doesn't know your business. And like the question you asked about a business coach, it doesn't know your business. And even if you give it context from the initial prompt, it won't remember it unless you train it to remember it. So ChatGPT is also, it can become a swamp of unorganized prompts and outputs. If you've used ChatGPT right now and you went to go look at your side chat, it's probably all over the place. And so things get disorganized and sometimes the AI gets confused and it's pulling context from different things and everything is very disorganized. So the solution is to train your ChatGPT to understand your business with a business DNA, like I talked about, and to set up specialized assistants that perform specific jobs. This keeps all of your information consistent and organized. So here are some examples of what I mean by that. You can set up a role specifically to be used as your thinking partner. So, your thinking partner, its role would be to organize ideas and get clarity and direction. So, you would only use your thinking partner to just bounce ideas off of. You wouldn't actually use your thinking partner to implement things, strategies, or create content for you. So, you would specifically train that thinking partner to just help you organize ideas and find clarity. It's where you brain dump. I use the thinking partner the most. It's like my sparring partner or my sounding board. And then you can also have a marketing specialist that is prompted to be trained on building strategies specifically for your business and your audience. And then your content creator will actually write the content from the strategies that your marketing strategist created. And so when you set up your space to be organized like this, you're way more efficient and less scattered. So here's just like an example of like an organized workspace on ChatGPT. You can see on the left side under projects, there's program design assistant, client success manager, content creator. These are all like, think of them all like employees that are trained, that have a master prompt, is what it's called, to train it specifically on this is your task, this is what I need, this is what the outputs are. They're like the experts in that specific role. So how do you learn how to do this? Well, this actually is what I do in the AI Fit Pro course. You build your business DNA and you'll build 5 specialized AI employees that will be trained on your business. And I'll teach you the tools that actually make sense for our profession because there's so many tools out there. But in the fitness industry, like there are specific tools that are useful for us as coaches and for educators. So you guys are actually getting first access to this course. It just came out yesterday. And I'm very excited, for you guys to see the capabilities of building your AI business center. And I also have if you want to see like it fully done, what what like a business center would look like. I built a custom GPT for trainers. It's free. You can sign up and just see what it would look like to have all of your um, your AI employees, but also the flow for what the business DNA is. And you'll see all the questions. Like you can literally, if you want to, just go on it, log in, and you'll see the business DNA and all the questions that go with it. And those are the questions that if you fill that out and you get that context, you can feed into ChatGPT. It is not accredited by ACE, it's accredited by NASM and AFA, and it will be CanFit Pro. But I I'd like it to be certified by ACE. We don't do ACE as much for fitness education online, but it might be shortly because ACE is definitely one that's highly requested. I'll post the link to in the chat for the course, and I actually have a QR code at the end. Okay, so I said there were two parts. This is the second part. All right, second part. Not only is everyone going to have their own custom AI business centers, but coaches, and some of you might be rolling your eyes, but I'm just telling you what is coming and what is actually happening. Coaches will be creating custom GPTs for their clients. So this is coming in 2026 and 2027. AI will allow you to scale your expertise to create 24/7 assistant trained on your coaching philosophy, systems, and programs. Your clients will have more touch points, more support without you spending more time. And I personally think that this is great for both us and our clients. And here's why. It allows you to scale your knowledge to support your clients without increasing your hours. You won't have to answer the same questions over and over. I know that we all do that. We answer the same questions over and over. Clients will get consistent messaging, which trains their brain to align with your methodology. It will improve accountability and keep engagement high in between sessions, and it will create a premium experience for your service. And on the client side, it's going to give them more support. They'll have more touch points. They can receive answers quickly that is trained on your philosophy. And all of this will bring more value to your clients, which allows you to charge more, and it will also increase retention. Because here's the hard truth, guys. They're already using ChatGPT, but it's just not yours. Wouldn't you rather have them aligned to your programming, your methods, and maintain control over the information that they are receiving? And the reason why I know this, guys, is because I built a custom GPT, but I was actually having my clients use ChatGPT as a reflection tool in between sessions, and I would give them prompts to use to reflect. But ChatGPT was giving them such generic answers that it wasn't aligning with my programming or anything, and it was actually more detrimental than helpful. So I said, well, if they're going to be paying for ChatGPT $20 a month, why don't I make my own custom GPT and pay me $20 a month instead of OpenAI? And I didn't do this for fun. I did it specifically because I wanted to scale my business without burning out. And there wasn't really any way that I could increase my charge rate and keep it affordable for my clients. So here's just an example of what I did. So I charged $30 more per month and created a custom GPT for them. And so just quick math, if you have 20 clients and you charge them an extra $30 per month, you could make 7,200 extra dollars per year, $600 per month, which is amazing. If you have 50 clients, that's an extra 18 grand per year. And if you have 100 clients and you're not doing this already, I don't know how you have 100 clients and you're scaling, but you can add this as a service for, and you make $36,000 per year. Okay, so here's what I'm offering. This is not for everyone, and I want to stress that. Regardless, I want everyone to understand that this is where the industry is going, and clients will expect they'll expect this type of support eventually because it's out there. There's already ChatGPT Health. Like they have a platform where you can now upload your medical records and ChatGPT is giving advice, which I think is scary. But I want to highlight that this does not replace us as coaches at all. This is I believe that this is how we can amplify our coaching and scale our coaching and give our clients more support and have control over what they're doing because they're going to be using ChatGPT. And so with that being said, I'm running a co-build program. And what we will do is we'll meet four times, so once per week for 4 weeks, and we're going to build your own custom app together. So I'm only going to be taking 10 people just to keep it small and intimate. But by the end of the 4 weeks, you will actually have a custom GPT for your clients. Um, so this lays out everything that you'll get. And I'm going to show you in a second because I want you to see the template of what I'm talking about. Even if this is like totally out of your realm and not into it, I just want to show you what a template will look like and like the possibilities of what you can do with your clients to serve them on the off time that you're not with them. So I have a proven template that we'll start with. And then in the 4 weeks, each of us will configure the app to customize it to your brand. So we will literally train the AI and the platform to be you, and not to replace you, but to be your assistant. So you don't have to be technical. I know people are asking like, do I have to be technical? I am like the least technical person ever. This is called vibe coding. I'm not sure if you guys have heard of it, but vibe coding is like coding an app or what engineers do. But now you can verbally tell the AI or the platform what you want to build. But what you need to be able to vibe code is to understand how to vibe code and how to understand how to vibe code in a system. And so you'll actually learn that part in the AI Fit Pro course, which is why I'm giving that as a freebie if you do this co-build program, because I want you to learn everything before we do the co-build. So you will get the AI Fit Pro course for free. And I typically charge $3,000 to $5,000 for this for custom builds for clients. So $500 per person and taking 10. And we'll learn how to learn how to vibe code for this specific platform for your custom GPT. But also you'll learn how to create other things so that after the 4 weeks, you own the app. You can customize it however you want beyond what I teach you. And then you'll actually know how to build other things. Like you can build lead magnets, the clarity form that you guys can go through. I built that in literally 15 minutes through vibe coding. So you can build very interactive lead magnets like that. So it's more than just creating that app one time that you're going to have, but it's also learning. This is the next thing. And like I said, it's not for everybody. If you're new to AI, you're like, oh my gosh, this is way over my head. This is not for you. But just so you're aware of what's coming in the future or possibilities that you can do, this is where the industry is going. So use your custom GPT on their free plan. Okay, let me go over the template. So the custom GPT is actually not going to be on ChatGPT. I know it's confusing. It's called a GPT. So they're actually not going to use it in ChatGPT. It's going to be your own platform. So this is why I wanted to make sure I showed you guys just like screenshots so you know what I'm talking about. So it's more than just a custom GPT. This is Think of it like an all-in-one platform. The GPT part is just one part, one benefit or one part of this application. But I want to walk you through this basic template. These are the basic features so that you can get a feel for the experience that we're actually building for your client. So it will be a mobile and desktop friendly app, and you'll have a coaching portal account, and you will be also setting up accounts for your clients. So this is just mine. I train pickleball players. And so this is the template we'd actually make, but you do your coloring, your branding, you can fit everything to your branding. But they would log in and into the platform here. So this is an example of the coach's dashboard where you'll be able to manage all of your clients' accounts and add new clients. So like down at the bottom, it says active clients. This is where all of your clients will be. You can create a new client. So if you onboard a client, you will create their username and password, and then once they log in, they can change their password, so it's private. But over here, you can see on your dashboard, active client. So I have Anthony selected, but if the drop down is here, you'll have all of your clients, and then you will be able to see all of their stuff. The only thing that's private for them is their interaction with the AI, just to keep things private. But you are in control of specific things. So this is the client vault. So this is the really cool part, and this is how you train the AI. So the client vault is where you will upload your client's programs, any personalized information for their programming, and this is what the AI will refer to for the chat feature. So in addition, we will be training our AI assistant on how like they should actually speak, what your philosophy is, your boundaries you set for the AI. So it is your assistant that you have control over, and the AI has a memory built in, so the communication won't feel so generic. So if a couple weeks ago Anna told me that, her knee was hurting, the AI will remember, a couple weeks ago if she says, you know what, my left knee is bothering me, it will refer back a couple weeks ago to when her knee was bothering you. But the AI will not give any medical advice. We train it so that the boundaries are already in the template. But it's very specific that if someone were to ask a medical question in the chat, it will say, I cannot answer this. Please reach out to your coach to refer out. So it's very strict. Like I said, I'm very strict on the boundaries of AI, and to make sure that it stays within scope. So the client vault's cool because everything that's here, the coach uploads, and then the client can put notes here as well. And this is what the AI can grab as context. You have a messaging portal. So this is still the coach's dashboard. So you can write to all of your clients that they can text you back and forth. So all of your clients' communication is organized and you don't have to sieve through your text messages or WhatsApp anymore. Everything is centralized here for communication in real time. This is the member dashboard. So we're on Anna's dashboard right now. This is Ask Your Coach. So, if Anna has a question, I'm feeling tired, what do you recommend? The AI will respond based on what they have input for their habits, their weekly check-in. So it always refers to, you can see up in the right corner, it says two sources loaded. So the AI only refers to the text and context that the coach gives it, and any generic information that the coach allows the AI to use for context. So I can't stress enough the boundaries. Um, this is just another example. What are we focusing on? It just goes to show like what I upload in the vault. It's a pickleball player, so it's referring to getting ready for the peak pickleball season and giving some advice based off of, she has a recovery pickleball stretch routine there. So it brings up the recovery sessions that I have in there. And you can upload as many programs or PDFs and Word docs as you want to in the vault to refer to. This is a weekly reflection. So this is I think this is one of the most important tools for us as coaches to help our clients stay accountable is a weekly check-in that gets triggered. So every Monday or Sunday, whatever you guys decide is the weekly check-in. Anna can fill this out, what her biggest win was, and you can personalize this too. This is just the way I do it. I like to have their biggest win, their main challenge, and the focus for next week. And then it will generate focus tasks. And the focus tasks will be like a little checkbox, but the coach has access to this. So the coach can see the action items that were produced by the AI and can edit it, can add or delete. So the coach always will have full control, but it just assists. The AI helps assist the coach in these checkpoints to give your clients more checkpoints for accountability, which I think is important. There's habits. So there's a habit tracker, a nutrition feature. So you and your clients can set up habits. You can gamify things with streaks and badges. This is such a basic template, but you can like if if you can think it, you can create it. And that's like the magic of vibe coding. And again, this is more advanced, but the fact that you guys are on here and curious about AI goes to show that you're interested. So I just want you to see what the possibilities and where AI is going. And that's all I have on that. It's not for everyone. I want to say that. But for those who might have that similar bottleneck that I did when I wanted to scale my business without adding more time, it's a really good solution. I'm going to stay on here and ask any questions or answer any questions. I appreciate you joining me. I am here to help. This is my email on the screen. Please reach out to me with any questions. I love talking about it. If you want to hop on a call, I'd be happy to help. It's We're in a really cool time to be a coach, and the main priority of AI, and I want you to take away, like regardless of these cool features and cool experiences that we can give to our clients, it's about using AI to find clarity in your business and to find organization. And for those of us who have ADD, like myself, if I didn't learn how to use AI to stay organized and create systems, it would be very overwhelming for me. So that clarity framework is key. So really go through that clarity framework. If you don't want to use the one that I sent you, which I promise, like none of the information will be visible to anyone. It's just something that I built quickly before this call so that you could go through and just see the power of how AI can take you through the session. So definitely do it. I'd love to hear how it goes, and let me know what questions you guys have. And thank you so much for joining me.